You're listening to the Feather and Bone Podcast. Two witches talk about everything witchy and nothing at all. This is going to be a rambling podcast.
I'm still aggravated.
I know you're aggravated. Tell them why you're aggravated.
Well, we just finished recording the last podcast that you guys heard.
Well, they're not going to hear that one first, though. They're going to hear this one
They're going to
first.
hear this one first?
Yeah.
Well.
Out of context, but yeah.
I'm irritated.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much impossible to... They put your child support on a little debit card, which is fine. But finding a way to pull cash off of it is difficult. Yeah. And then you have to pay an ATM fee. And then you can't just move the money from your card to your bank account or the website. It's just a huge, huge pain in my ass.
It's like, do they not think that, like, you might want to actually hand the child money?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, like, I think they're just assuming that you're going to use the card to pay for, like, you know, food, clothes, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if I want to, like, what if she wants to buy, like, she's going on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And she you know, like.
It's frustrating as hell.
Well, it's the government. So. we just know. So a lot has, like, and the podcast was, like, a little late. The last one was a little late getting out. What?
I was just looking at your phone thinking it was mine going, when did I get a little porcupine or whatever the fuck it is thing on my
I, like, for some reason my cats like to chew, well, they like to chew cord, like Cricket likes to chew cords anyway. So I have this metal charging cord. But then she started chewing the very end of the cord. So I had to get this little porcupine charger holder thing to put on the end.
Speaking of that, you're not going to believe this. You won't believe it.
Okay, will it be like the same level of you, like, seeing the dead duck?
You might be in more disbelief.
Okay.
Nobody else will be in disbelief, but I know you will. I walked into...
my neck's itching.
Okay, in our bedroom, my husband, who I have consciously been trying to not pick on in the podcast because I don't want people to think we hate each other, because we don't.
That's just the dynamic.
We just tease each other.
Relationship.
We tease each other a lot, but we've never even had a fight in 10 years.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Because he won't fight.
So, he burns up at night. So he's been, you know the little dinner tray table?
Yeah.
You had me buy? He took that, put it in the bedroom, and he's been putting a box fan on top of it so that the air is blowing right on him. Okay.
Now, is he against the wall or is he on the outside?
He's on the outside.
Okay.
So, I walked in there yesterday, and Sammy was standing there eating the fan cord. Sammy! See, guys, you should see her face. She's like, what?
Sammy never does anything wrong.
No, she's 11 years old. She's never chewed on anything like that in her life. And I walked in there and I go, what the fuck are you doing? And I tried. She's a big cat, guys. She's abnormally
like
large.
Every bit of 15 pounds.
and she's not even really fat. She's just
large. No, she's just a large cat. I think she might have, like, Maine Coon.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So I walk over because I went, Sammy, stop. She didn't stop.
She just looked at you while continuing to chew.
Yeah, she gave me side eye like, fuck you, I'm going to chew. And she's the good cat, guys. She's no trouble ever. I walked over and grabbed the cord and was trying to yank it out of her mouth, and she would not let go. Yes.
She's like, I've had enough of this world. I don't want to die.
The fan was on.
Yeah. See, and I think that's why Cricket chews cords, because I think she likes the shock that she gets from it. Because she'll chew them until they're in two, and they're plugged in.
Yeah. Yeah, she did it with your Echo cord.
Yeah. She did it with my Fire Stick.
Oh, my God.
She chewed that in half.
I can't believe I forgot to tell you that. See, that's how stunned I was.
Well, you've been having issues with your pets, period.
Oh, my Christ.
Your little one-eyed monster dog.
That dog, her goal in life is to eat my soul. She wants to suck it out of my body slowly and
Now,
painfully.
she's so sweet and innocent.
You know that's not true.
I know it's not true.
Anybody that's friends with me on Facebook,
Oh, she's horrible.
she's a miniature Shih Tzu.
Miniature? Why did
Miniature.
Why did you say it like that?
I don't know.
Miniature. Go ahead.
She's not a regular size Shih Tzu. She's a miniature one.
She's a miniature.
And I don't even know how the fuck that happened because I didn't even know that was a thing that they did.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry for the sound, guys. My dog's starting to wake up.
lay down. She's like, no,
Yeah.
fuck you. Okay, let's do her tail.
Yeah, don't look at her. You're gonna make it worse.
So we're not making eye contact for a minute.
Right.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
is it over?
It might be. Okay, carry on.
Okay, guys, this dog, we,
That's actually low-key funny.
oh my God.
Wait a minute. She's circling.
Is she done?
She's still standing, so.
Oh my God. I don't know what's happening. So, we got that dog. My daughter and I went and got that dog the same day as my first date with my husband. So, I've literally had that dog
As long as you've
as long
had your
as I've
husband.
had my husband. Like it was that day we got that dog.
Yeah.
I can hear her breathing at the holes.
Okay, so the reason it's so, I think I talked about this on the other podcast too. I can't put something in there soft that would make that sound go away, because when she's in there while I'm at work, she gets bored and she'll start shredding whatever's in there with her. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid that she'll eat it. And then I'll have a vet bill because she has an impaction.
Yes.
So that's why there's nothing in there. And it's loud. So continue talking about Ginger now.
Okay, so this little dog is an asshole. Right. She got attacked by another dog when she was only 1 or 2. And we had to have her eye removed. So the bitch has one eye.
Yeah.
So now...
And lately, she's had teeth issues.
Oh, yeah. So she's getting hard of hearing, so she can't hear very well.
Yeah.
And with her one eye that she has, it's getting a big old cataract over it. It's getting cloudy looking.
Yeah.
So she can't see. She can't hear very well. I had to pull a tooth out of her mouth the other day because it was just hanging there. The canine tooth on the lower front. And apparently that tooth was holding her tongue in her mouth. So now her tongue's always hanging out.
And she hasn't been groomed.
No, she hasn't been groomed lately.
So, she looks...
She looks gnarly.
She's a hot mess.
And this dog, nobody else really sees it, but she waits till no one else is around, and she follows me around.
Yeah.
And just grunts and growls and...
Yeah. And no, guys, that's the sound this dog makes.
Yes.
That exact sound is coming out of that dog.
And she'll wait till I'm working and I'm in the middle of a reading, and she'll get behind my chair where she knows I can't get to her and sit there and do those noises on purpose.
Yeah.
This dog tortures me. But so last night... Oh, and she has mega esophagus problems.
Yeah.
So we have to hold her up every time she eats.
Or she'll get her food in her lungs.
Yeah, she'll aspirate. And oh my Christ. So anyway... Last night...
No, let's wait. Before you talk about that, let's just lay it out of how this dog is.
You go for it.
She also demands certain types of food.
I have to rotate her food.
Yeah. She's not my dog will eat the same dog food every day.
So will my big dog, yeah.
From the day, till the day that she dies. She's I don't need variety in my life. This little fucking dog will legit refuse to eat the food.
She will. She'll starve.
Yeah.
When you're at the store with me getting dog food, I have to buy so many different flavors. It's crazy.
And you can't just give her like let's say you could buy 4 different flavors. You can't just rotate those 4 flavors.
No.
You have to give her half a container of one flavor and half a container of another flavor because she needs variety.
Yeah.
And if you try to give her all one flavor, she won't eat it.
She won't. And when we say, and I know all of y'all are going, well, she'll eat eventually if she gets hungry enough. No, she will not.
No, like she gets sick before she eats.
She'll starve just to prove a point. So,
and like if she sees the big dog getting a treat, she's like, hello? And she will shit on the carpet.
If you don't give her one.
If you don't give her one too. So like if there's scraps or something that you give the big dog, then you have to give her something else. Mm-hmm. Because she'll be like, well, why does he get the leftover pot roast and I'm just getting the specially picked out food. Gourmet food.
From Tibet.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that this dog is like a fucking diva. Like there's something, now.
Well, you know my daughter loving astrology and everything. Well, she figured out with when the dog was born and all that stuff that she's a Scorpio.
Well.
And so that kind of explains a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So yesterday,
my husband and I, we're happy. We're sitting in the den watching The Last Kingdom. And all of a sudden we hear these Jesus, these weird pig in distress noises. And I'm not exaggerating. It sounded like a pig in distress. We're like, what the fuck? And we look, and you know the blanket I have hanging over my papasan chair.
Yeah.
That thing's flipping and flapping and being weird. And my husband reaches over and lifts the blanket up. She's under there with her head flipped upside down, twitching and shit, jerking her head around.
You're like, she's having seizures.
I'm like, she's dying. And she, before I could get up, she bolts out from under the chair, starts trying to get to my daughter's room, and she's just shaking all over and dragging her fucking leg, making pig noises. And I'm trying to chase her down the hallway to grab her.
Because you don't want your daughter seeing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she
if this is the time.
like, she doesn't need to see her go out like this.
Yeah.
So I pick her up, and I'm holding her up, because that always fixes all her problems when I hold her straight up.
She's aspirating.
Yeah.
She probably went and got something to drink. It's like in her lungs and she's dry drowning.
Yeah. So I'm holding up the dog, and I'm listening, and every time she would exhale, it sounded like a muffler that needed replaced. Like it was bad. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like she's gargling out her nose.
So my husband comes over, Mr. Medical Expert, and I'm not lying, he really is. He's like, oh, she can't breathe, her nose is stopped up. And so I'm yelling at the dog, you have a mouth! Breathe through your mouth! And so she would inhale through her mouth with her tongue hanging out, by the way. But she refused to exhale through her mouth. So inhale through the mouth, trying to force that air through her completely stopped up fucking nose. Right. And I'm going, that's not working for you.
You're like, you're suffocating.
I'm like, I know you can use your mouth. I've seen you pant. So I told my husband, I said, I bet if we could give this godforsaken animal Mucinex, it would fix like 95% of all her health shit.
Yeah.
He Googles it, and you can. So he figured out how much she weighed by the milligrams in the pill. I would have just, you know me.
You're like, here's a Mucinex, take it.
He figured it out.
Stuff it in some cheese, here you go.
But he figured it out, cut the pill up proportionately, and crushed it. And I had 1 can of corned beef hash. I love hash. I haven't let myself have it in a very long time.
It's so unhealthy.
Yeah, because it's so bad.
It's delicious. But
he's like, well, can we put it in so she'll eat it? Because you know that bitch won't just eat normal.
And if she thinks you're putting something in it, then she's not going to eat it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had to sacrifice my holy, precious can of corned beef hash so that we could mix that fucking Mucinex in with it to give to the dog. We gave it to the dog. She's like, no, I'm not going to eat it. So,
of course,
we had to put her in my daughter's room and have her feed the dog
the hash,
the Mucinex hash, Because she wouldn't eat it if the adults were looking at her.
Yeah.
Only my daughter could see her eat it.
Yeah.
So she got her to eat it, and do you know that this morning that damn dog is running around like it's a puppy.
Like a puppy again.
And I'm like, son of a bitch.
It's like you were dying yesterday, bitch.
I'm like, this dog never is never going to die. How many times have I saved that dog's life?
Oh, 100. Like, you guys had to take her to the vet and everything because she was like
pneumonia and all kinds of shit. Oh my God.
And you know, she's really smart.
She is smart. She's manipulative.
She really is. Because, like, you would give her treats for using the bathroom outside. So she would go outside.
That's the only way she would get house trained.
Yeah, she would go outside and then, like, pretend. Like, no, legit pretend.
She would fake pee, guys.
She would hunch down like she was peeing. Not really pee, and then come back in like, I want my treat now.
Because she pulled that on you a few times.
I'm like, you didn't pee. You're on the sidewalk. I can tell you didn't pee. So I'm looking at it. She's like, man, I get hash when I have seizures. She'll be like fucking.
She'd be like my first husband and start faking seizures.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's no joke. He used to fake seizures.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this dog, she's like my arch nemesis. But at the same time, if anybody were to hurt her,
oh yeah,
I would murder them. It's like a real love-hate relationship with me and this dog.
It's unhealthy, is what it is.
It really is.
And you know, talking to dogs, I had an issue with my dog.
I'm gonna go grab a pop while you're
okay. And I like how you're like saying like, oh, I'm gonna go grab a pop, like it's not just like 12 feet. Like
I'm letting you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, my house isn't so.
I thought that was a log hanging from your wall.
That's the cat door stopper that your mom got me.
Because she buys you bougie shit.
For Christmas, and I wanted to just put it on my bed because it's a cat. And you're like, no, it's a door stopper. I've never used it as a door stopper.
Not even in the winter when you complain about the draft?
No, because the whole door drafts, so I have to put a blanket over it.
Well, here's the thing. That door stopper was so expensive, I wouldn't want to put it on the fucking floor.
That's what I'm saying. I want to put it on my bed, and you're like, nah.
I don't understand why she spoils you so much.
Well, because I'm awesome.
Mama will come to my house and be like, hey, I was at Goodwill and found you some fucking curtains. And then she's like,
here's an $80 purse for Beverly.
She's like, I went to Saks Fifth Avenue and bought Beverly a Christmas present.
I can't say on the podcast why, but I think you know why.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. So, okay, back to my dog and what she did to me. Okay, so I need to kind of back up a little bit first and talk about COVID-19.
Don't worry, guys. It's not what you think it's going to be.
So, Tuesday of week before last, I had an appointment. Here I am scratching my poison ivy again. I had an appointment with my doctor, just a regular follow-up, like, medication management appointment.
Yeah, to get your refills.
Yeah. So,
you were happy?
Yeah, I was fine. Just living my best life. Driving to Summersville, going to see my doctor. And so I go after work, and of course, because of COVID, the check-in process is different. They come out to your car and everything. So they come out to the car, and the first lady's like taking my temperature and like, who am I going to see, blah blah blah. Well, she doesn't tell me that I have a temperature of like 101.2, I think is what it.
Yeah, it was kind of hot.
Yeah. And but she doesn't tell me that. She's like, okay, someone will be out. So then, instead of like, okay, it's your turn to come in.
Did people come out in hazmat suits?
Well, almost. The doctor's nurse comes out. And she's like, you had a temperature of 101.2. Are you feeling sick? I'm like, no.
I've been like, bitch, it's 800 degrees out here. Of course I'm hot.
Well, but I had my air conditioner on, blowing in my face, set to like 65. So there's like, I shouldn't have had that high of a temperature. So she starts asking me questions, and I did have a headache,
We figured that was from your coworker.
Well, and then like allergy season, and I've been coughing a little bit here and there, and whatever.
And you do that every year.
Yeah. Ever since the brain surgery, my sinuses have been fucked up. So, like, I just, yeah, I've been feeling bad, but it's allergies, and, like, the weather's been crazy, and, like, whatever. So she's like, well, we're not going to allow you to come into the building, because you do have a high fever, and you've been, not feeling well.
She's like, you are an infection.
Yeah. So she goes ahead and, she takes my blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. Well, then the doctor comes out to have my appointment in the parking lot.
Jesus. And
she brings out another thermometer, and she's like, we wanted to bring out a different kind, because the one that they used was like where they point it. Mm-hmm. And she said that it had been kept in, like, kind of in the sun in the building, so they're wondering if maybe it was already hot. So she uses, like, the forehead one on me, and now I have a temperature of, like, 103. Like, so within, like, 10, 15 minutes.
If you really, truly had a temperature of 103, you would have felt like dog shit.
And I didn't feel like dog shit.
No.
And so, but that made them think even more that it was COVID. Mm-hmm. Because some people don't have any symptoms, and they don't know that they're sick. And, so
you would know if you had a fever of 103, I can tell you that.
Well, so she stops, like, as soon as she reads the temperature, she stops, and she's like, I'm going to have to go put some PPE on. And then, like, she's like, you can be tested if you want to be tested. She's like, but I'm going to say that you can't go back to work until, 14 days. Like, so.
Now, you know me, I would have refused the test, but you have to because of work.
Well, but I didn't want to miss 14 days of work.
Yeah.
Waiting for, I could take a test and be done 2 to 4 days.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, do the test. And also because my niece is sick, and, she's in bone marrow failure, and I was around her on the 4th. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if I have COVID, this is something that we need to know as a family.
Yeah.
I had been around my mother who's, older, and my nephew Logan, who every time he gets, like, any type of respiratory issue ends up in the hospital. So, like, I needed to know. And let me tell you, if you've never been tested for COVID...
It's a brain scraping.
Oh my God. Like, it's horrible. They, like, because I'm in my car, and they make me, like, put your head against the headrest and look straight forward, and they shove this long Q-tip all the way back in your nose, and it's dry. Mm-hmm. And it's just...
You're like, at least lube it up.
Yeah. They have to let it sit there for like 30 seconds. And then they pull it out, and they take the same one and stick it in your other nostril. I said nostril on purpose. You looked at me like, really? They shove it up your other nostril, and then, like, they leave it in that one for 30 seconds. So it is not a pleasant experience, But anyway, so here I am. I'm sick. Well, I don't feel sick at that point. But I am, fevered, whatever, and I just had sticks shoved up my nose. And she's like, you're going to have to go home and wait for your test results.
You're like, but I don't have any bread.
Yeah.
That was her main concern, guys.
Yeah.
The bread.
I didn't have any bread. So I ate pancakes for days. Because I had pancake mix. So, so I'm going to have to miss work.
I was on the phone with her, guys, for most of this process, and I'm just like, you do not have COVID-19.
Yeah. So, but I did get sick when I come home. And there's a conspiracy theory out there saying that people were feeling fine before they had the test. Mm-hmm. And then after the test, they got sick. Mm-hmm. That happened to me.
There's a lot of people saying it.
I got really sick, didn't I?
You did. That's why I don't get the flu shot. Because I get sick as a dog when I get the flu shot.
Well, see, and that's why I don't get the flu shot either. But, like, I was just having a test. It wasn't like I had the vaccine. Unless they're putting the fucking vaccine on them goddamn sticks. And they're vaccinating people. Like, you and I are big conspiracy theorists.
Well, I can tell you one thing. There's definitely a lot more going on with this than people want to admit.
Yeah. So I come home, and I'm going to have to be off work. Now, overnight, I did get pretty sick.
It's like sleep sitting up.
Yeah. I was having trouble breathing. Like, I mean, but obviously, okay, guys, I was negative. Like, I'll just go ahead and skip to that point. Whatever I had going on was just like a summer cold or I wouldn't even say it was the flu, but I did get pretty sick there for about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So the next...
I kept saying, you get this every year.
Yeah.
Every summer, this happens.
Yeah.
Don't let them get in your head.
Well, but because of my niece, I think I needed to be tested just to be sure. But I also work with the elderly. Mm-hmm. And they're starting, because before, from the past 3 months, we haven't had to go into people's homes because of the virus. Mm-hmm. But now they're saying that we can go in the homes if we're opening up a new case, and they're opening new cases. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to be going into people's homes that I've never met face to face because I got them approved for the program all over the phone. Mm-hmm. So I don't want my first experience with them to be me giving them COVID and they die.
You're their first and only experience with me.
So I was I need to be tested. It's just the responsible thing to do. So she just about choked on her pop. Yeah. So anyway, the next morning, because this all comes back to my dog. Okay. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh yeah, we were talking about dogs.
Yeah, I needed to back up and explain because the next morning after now by this point I am feeling sick.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing well.
Now, guys, I'm not picking on her when I say this, but when she doesn't feel good, it's her whole body just shuts down. You can't think right.
Yeah.
You don't handle pain and illness. Your tolerance is very low.
Yeah.
So she's not exaggerating with any of this.
Well, and I mean, I can stub my toe, and that toe will be sore for almost a month.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It just we've been kind of going back and forth. We both think I have lupus.
Yeah, I do.
And it's so hard to be diagnosed with lupus. But anyway, so the next morning I put my dog out. Now, guys, I don't know if you know or not, but I had a beautiful new privacy fence installed, so that I don't have to look at my trashy ass neighbors anymore.
Yes, and they are trashy.
Literally, not just in a white trash kind of way, but they are. But actual trash.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There's just piles of junk. Okay, and I would have to, every time coming in and out of my house, that's what I'd have to look at. So I had this beautiful privacy fence put up.
It is really nice. Hey, and I must say, the guy that installed it,
Nevin,
was beautiful as well.
Yes, Nevin will be back to work on my porch.
Remember when I came here and saw him?
You couldn't talk.
No, I just turned around and left.
Yeah, you couldn't even form a sentence.
I walked over to you.
I said, what you need is on the desk in the house. You're like, okay.
And I just left. I wasn't hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You're like, So, anyway, the old fence is still up. My privacy, because they had a fence that was a chain link fence. My privacy fence is just in front of it. So my fucking dog goes outside and goes in between the two fences under the old fence and is now in the neighbor's yard eating the fucking food that they throw out the back door. Because yes, they do that.
Yeah.
And my dog is very food driven. She just is.
Yeah.
So she knows that there's food out there, so she's going to get it. So I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm in my pajamas. It's first thing in the morning. And I'm out there leaning around the privacy fence because it's not my whole yard is fenced in. It's just one straight line of fence. So I'm peering around the edge of the fence and I'm like, get back here. Get in this yard. And she's just she can't figure it out. She can't figure out how she got herself in that situation. Mm-hmm. So I had to come back in the house, get shoes on because I was out there barefooted. Mm-hmm. And so come back in, get my flip-flops. I had to walk through the field to the other road and then walk into their yard to get my dog. So I have her leash.
So you went through the front yard to there.
That's the only way I could get to where she was at. Mm-hmm. Was the carport that they have. I had to go because there's now a fence up.
Yeah.
I had to go and around and get her. So I'm walking back through there and their little dogs start barking because someone's in their yard. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Mm. And I'm like, my dog has come under the fence. She's stuck. I'm getting her. And he goes to come outside. I'm like, don't come out here. I've been tested for COVID-19. like, you know, because I just don't want to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want him.
He's an asshole.
So then he's like, if your dog comes over here again, I'll fucking kill her. Now, to be fair, my dog did viciously attack and maul their little Chihuahua.
But your dog was on a leash.
My dog was on a leash, and their little Chihuahua was terrorizing us, following us while we were taking our walk. Mm-hmm. And I asked them to please put their dog up till I was done. Because, like, you know, where I live, you're not allowed to let your dogs free roam.
Yeah.
And they do. And that little dog literally would follow us and antagonize my dog. And I asked them, please put the dog up until I'm done walking her, and then, like, whatever. Well, they didn't. So the dog come over and was starting her shit, and Nyota got her.
Yeah.
And really mauled the dog up pretty bad. Like, the police were called on me and everything. It was this whole thing. So I understand him saying, like, if your dog comes over here again, I'll fucking kill it.
But the cops said you weren't at fault.
Right. Now, my dog in their yard, that would be my fault.
Yeah.
So, you know, so anyway, here I am. I'm all sick, and, you know, the neighbors pissed me off. I'm mad at Nyota, and she thinks that she's just on this grand adventure. Mm-hmm. And so I take her off, and I bring her back around, and now her lead is still under the fence and everything, because I had to unhook her from it.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling it, and I'm trying to get it back on my side of the property, and it gets stuck on the goddamn fence.
Oh, my God.
So I'm out there yanking. Well, guys, I'm allergic to anything that grows and is green.
She's not lying.
Guess what I motherfucking got into? Poison goddamn ivy.
Yep.
So now I'm sick.
And you have your fever.
With a fever and poison ivy.
Yes.
Guys, my COVID adventure does not stop there. Okay. I had a crackhead on my porch.
Yes.
This was the next morning.
She has one of those video things on her porch.
Yeah, it's by Arlo. Really good camera. Actually, even the police officer was like, "That's pretty good video quality."
You're like, yes, it is.
So I'm sitting at my computer. It's the following morning, and I had Nyota out. It was like 8-something in the morning. She had been out. I brought her back in. I'm sitting at my computer playing The Sims. You know, just having, you know, just chilling because I'm not allowed to go to work.
Yeah.
And my little doorbell, like the little notification goes off to let me know that something picked up. Now, most of the time it's like a bee has flown by it, or there's like one of the neighbors' like 80 million fucking cats because they don't spay and neuter their pets. One of their kittens is running around out there. A stray dog coming and peeing where Nyota pees, like all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I look at the camera just to see what it is. It's a man.
And you know the videos on Facebook where they play like Michael Jackson's Thriller or something, and it shows the
people that are high as a kite and like those exaggerated, uncontrollable movements that they have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what he was doing on my front porch.
And when you sent me the video, I was like, you need to add music to the video.
Now, I sent you the video like after the fact because like I immediately, because he's trying my doorknob, he was rattling my window, like, so I immediately call 911, and I'm on like 911. I'm like, there's a crackhead trying to get in my house. Like 8:30 in the morning.
She's like, there's a crackhead on my porch.
That's what I told her. I said, there is some crackhead clearly fucking twigging out on my front porch trying to get in my house. Mm-hmm. And they're on the video, you watch him, and like it's just crazy, like the way he's moving and everything. So here I am, I'm sick. And you know what? I didn't even think to tell the officers I was tested for COVID. I was just so happy they were here to try to find my crackhead.
Were you hot?
Yes. So, and I don't know if it's just like maybe where it was early in the morning and like they were all like, we want something to do. Mm-hmm. Or if like I really sounded terrified when I called, because they ended up sending 2 separate state troopers and a county sheriff's deputy. So
you're like, I've been bad, officer.
Yes. So I'm on the phone with 911 because he's still out there, and I know that cops are coming. So I'm trying to put a bra on and not have the 911 lady realize that that's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm sick, so I can't really breathe. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to sound like I'm like doing something, you know.
I'm masturbating on the phone.
So, but he ends up walking away and like kind of wandering off before the cops get here. Now, I don't want to make it sound like the cops didn't come in a timely manner. They did. They had left Fayetteville, which is about 15 minutes from here. Mm-hmm. And they were here in probably like less than 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So they immediately responded. It's just he was gone before they got here. Mm-hmm. So I dealt with that while I had COVID. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's a group on Facebook, and it's like the Facebook, or like the Fayette County Neighborhood Watch. I posted video of this man.
Because guys, you all don't understand how she is.
Yeah.
My friend right here.
Yeah.
She just, like, I would have just called everybody and been like, what the fuck? And told them what happened and let it go.
Yeah.
Bought some more shells for my gun and they called it a day.
Yeah.
Not my friend here. She can't let shit go.
I can't.
You even admit it. You're like, I really can't.
I can't. Well, because like my thing is, it's like, this is my home.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to be afraid in your home. And I have already installed a security system and bought a dog.
Yeah.
And installed security camera.
Yeah.
What more do I need to do to feel safe in my own fucking home? So I put the video out there and I'm like, hey, and I put like, my city. And I was like, watch out. I think I've said Mount Hope in here before. I'm like, watch out, Mount Hope. Crackheads are out.
Yeah.
So I start getting all these messages from people. They're like, we know who this is. We know who this is. Like, blah, blah, blah. I get a message from his goddamn stepmother.
Yeah.
And giving me this sob story and saying, oh, he wouldn't hurt anybody. And I'm like, listen, I told her, I said, listen, I'm a social worker, so I understand what you're saying. And I understand, because she wanted me to tell her where I lived. So that when he shows up again, I can just get a hold of her and they can come get him.
She could be his crack dealer. You don't know.
And I'm like, I'm not telling you where I live. And I said, listen, I'm a social worker. I get it. I understand where you're coming from and like the heartache of having to deal with this as a loved one. I said, but this is my home. Mm-hmm. And I should not have to be afraid in my home.
Right.
I was minding my own business and he decided to use drugs.
Yep.
And bring that into my life. So now I'm dealing with it. And I said, as much help as you want, unless he wants help, it doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
And so she agreed and she apologized and she said, yeah, we don't allow him at our house. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you want me to be okay with him showing up at my house and telling me he won't hurt me, but you won't let him come to yours.
Right.
When someone is as high as that man was and the way he was moving.
Yeah.
If like he could hurt somebody and not know he was hurting them.
Yeah.
So anyway, now I've been cleared of COVID at this point. So I'm back at work. I receive a message from the guy himself.
The crackhead.
The crackhead himself gets a hold of me. And he sends this whole big long message about what he's sorry. He had been in prison for 2.5 years. He'd been released on...
Yeah, and you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
Like he won't hurt you.
And he had been released on parole to a treatment program. His grandmother died. He said, fuck it, left treatment. Decided to come here and do drugs. And that, like, this... In the morning that this happened... Now, remember, guys...
Oh, wait, because his daughter had an attitude.
Yeah, his daughter had an attitude with him. So, fuck it, time to do drugs.
Yeah.
And, so... Now, it was 8:30 in the morning... And he admitted to, that early in the morning, mixing a bunch of drugs. He's not really sure what all he took.
Yeah.
And that as they were walking, he started sweating real bad. And, like, his buddy could tell that, like, he was in trouble.
Yeah. So
they were turning around to go back and get him help. Well, somewhere along the line, he blacks out. He loses track of his buddy. He ends up on my porch.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to feel okay and feel safe with someone that doesn't even know how they ended up on my porch. Mm-hmm. So he gives me this whole big long spiel and I'm just like, he's like, I'm never going to do drugs again, ma'am. I've learned my lesson. I don't respond to him. But because he has sent me a private message, I now know exactly who he is and I can access his Facebook page.
See, guys, this is how she is. Wait, it gets better.
I go on his Facebook page, says he's from Huntington. I'm like, okay. Cabell County. His stepmom told me he was on parole. He told me he was on parole. I call the Cabell County parole office.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, hi. Because at this point, I'm not really sure, like, where he's on parole. You know, because people don't always update their Facebook of where they're living. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not sure if I have the right parole office or not, but this is the guy's name. This, you know, he's like, oh, no, that's because I ended up getting him, like his parole officer is who answered the phone. And he's like, yeah, we've been looking for him. I was like, well, he's in Fayette fucking County because he was on my porch. I have video I can send to you of him high as a kite. Mm-hmm. Like I had to call law enforcement and all this. And he's like, well, the judge wants us to give him a chance to turn himself in, but if he doesn't turn himself in by Wednesday, then we're going to issue a warrant for his arrest. So, old boy, they know that not only did he leave drug treatment program, but he left because I was like, did he have permission to leave Cabell County?
Yeah, you're such an instigator.
And the guy's like, no, ma'am, he did not. So now, like, not only did he leave his treatment program, he left the county, and he was on drugs, and the law was called on him.
Yeah. So
he's fucked. Like, when he's picked up, and now I'm okay.
You're like, how dare he touch my porch?
Yeah. And I told the guy, I told the parole officer, I said, listen, I'm angry. I'm not angry with you. Mm-hmm. That's not what it is. I said, it's just like that it was 8 something in the morning. No, I think this was after my COVID test because I think it was Sunday morning or Saturday morning or something.
It was after, yeah.
Yeah, it was after I was cleared for COVID, so the cops were safe. But I was like, you know, it's 8:30 in the morning and I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I'm having to call 911, and I'm like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And he agreed with me. He was very nice, and he gave me his personal cell phone number. I think it's because I have, like, when I'm on the phone...
She used to be a sex phone operator.
I have a phone voice when I'm on the phone that I use. I slip into it. I don't do it on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like, even my coworkers have noticed that, like, my phone voice is different than my regular talking voice. But he gave me his personal cell phone number. He's like, if he shows up again, ma'am, you give me a call. And I'm like, absolutely. About to have a false sighting.
You're like, I need a photo.
Yeah. What do you look like so I know it's you and not somebody else
on the phone?
Yeah, that shows up when I call. So that was like my COVID adventure. It started with a temperature. My dog was threatened.
Lord.
And then ended with a crackhead on my porch.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy the days that I had to take off because I needed to wait for my results.
And she didn't have bread.
And I didn't have bread. Like, how do you not have bread?
I know.
So I ate a lot of pancake. Like, I just need bread.
Well,
as soon as I was COVID free, I got bread.
I have to find some low carb bread.
Aldi's, I told you that Aldi's has a low carb bread.
Have you tasted it?
No, but all the ladies at work love it. Now, I did buy some low carb tortilla. I do it on purpose. She
says it wrong on purpose.
Because I know it aggravates you to death.
Yes.
I got some of those, and they're soft and they taste good.
That's what I hear about myself.
Do you want to take one home with you to try?
No.
Okay.
If you might have to get COVID tested again,
yeah,
and then you wouldn't have any tortillas
to
eat.
But I have bread. I have a loaf of bread and I have tortillas, and I still have some pancake mix.
I'm trying to think if anything exciting's happened to me.
You haven't really, like, COVID is really just kind of like.
I haven't even been anywhere.
Since
nothing. Like February.
Yeah. Like, used to be, you would have stories about, like, when you're in Walmart and, like, the random people that would...
proposition me and...
Yeah, but, like, you haven't really gone anywhere and done anything since March.
No. And I'm abnormally calm.
Yeah, like, your husband's home, your daughter's home, your son's home.
Yeah. Just hanging out.
Just, you know.
watch TV.
You did have to put up with your mom and your stepdad there for a few days. I say put up with. I mean, it's not like it's a big inconvenience, but it's just a break in what you're used to of being your routine.
I survived.
Yeah.
I love my mom, but I like it when she visits alone.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Because they were in visiting your papaw, and how old is he?
93.
He's 93. Bless his heart, thin blood. So like he doesn't think he needs air conditioning.
No.
94 degrees in the house.
Yeah,
And
he's happy.
He's like, I might need to put a sweater on.
Yeah. That's accurate.
Yeah, but your mom and your stepdad were in, and they couldn't deal with the heat.
Yes, they kept coming to my house every day.
Yeah, and just hanging out in your air conditioning.
And every time they came, they showed up with laundry.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my mom showed up with a set of curtains. I'm like, whose curtains are you washing?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
They were probably your papaws.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She didn't bring her own laundry with her.
God.
And then she had that bag of meat.
Yeah, she showed up with a bag of meat.
She's like a Ziploc bag full of hamburger meat.
I mean, I love
She's
my
like,
mom.
I'm going to make some hamburger meat.
I love her to death. But I want her to myself. I don't want to have to visit with her when there's other people around she's having to take care of.
Yeah. Oh, tell them about the bird.
The bird.
The baby bird, and your mom was like, I don't care if it dies. Basically.
I have a hanging pot. This is the second psycho bird situation in my house this summer. So, did I tell them about the first time?
No, we haven't had a podcast in a bit.
I'm outside.
You were telling Jamie and them at her party. That's probably what you're thinking.
So, we're outside, me and Ken, just hanging out on the front porch. And I'm doing my thing where I message you and say, guess what? I'm outside. And you're like, what's
I'm like,
happening?
why? Why would you do this to yourself?
So all of a sudden we see our cat Spaz. Now Spaz has no claws.
Right.
But she's the most deadly, psychotic killer cat you have ever met in your life. She'll bring us snakes and all kinds of crazy shit.
She's like, I'll kill it with my bare paws.
Like if there were badgers around, she'd probably end up killing one of those, you know? So she's brought us some insane stuff. So we're like, what is she doing? And she had a little tiny baby bird in her mouth. And we noticed that there were two other birds circling around her, freaking out like, rah,
like, you got our baby.
So we're guessing it fell out of the nest and she snapped it right up. So we get the baby bird away from the cat, and I scooped it up, and I'm holding it in my hands, and we're watching where the parents are landing, because they calmed down once they saw me just holding it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find where the fuck their nest is. Couldn't find the nest, and bird shit on me. I mean, so we got the cat inside, and I'm like, okay, circle of life.
Yeah, you're like, I can't be responsible for this bird.
I'm like... So I felt bad for the parents because they were tripping. So I set the little bird back down right where it had fallen to begin with. And I'm sitting in my big bay window just watching that bird for hours.
Yeah. Like, can they work together, teamwork, and fly it back to the nest?
I'm like, what are they going to do? Somebody let Spaz back out.
Yeah.
And I watched that cat like it was airborne. Like, as soon as she was outside, I see this cat flying through the air like an airplane. And landing on top of this baby bird.
Yeah.
And just murdering it in front of its parents. And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, God!
Before, she was trying to at least carry it away.
Yeah.
So no one, she's like, not again.
So then, on my back porch, I have this hanging metal basket with marigolds in it to keep the mosquitoes away.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed there have been some psycho loudmouth birds on my back deck. A lot. Like, anytime anybody goes out there, they're like, Rah!
I think they're attracted to that yellow, or the red umbrella. Yellow.
So I'm like, I was telling my husband, I was like, I think they own this umbrella, because they're always sitting on it and stuff. And,
yeah.
Mom was bitching, saying I needed to water my marigolds more. But my husband had just told me that day that those birds had nested in my pot with the marigolds. I didn't want to disturb the birds. I'm like, I can buy more marigolds.
Yeah.
Those things are like a dime a dozen.
You're like, my cat's already killed the cousin, the little cousin to these birds.
Yeah. So, my mom was like, oh, it won't hurt them. They'll be fine. So I was thinking there were probably like 2 adults and 1 baby hanging out in that nest or whatever. So I got my little watering can thing, and I tried to go towards the edge so I wouldn't dump it right on top of the nest.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that's where the fucking nest was. Because the water starts pouring out of the can. There goes 3 adult birds come flying out of there like crazy.
They had a unique living situation.
They did. Another baby came out, and it was partially flying. It was able to fly short distances to get away. Well, the other baby just goes thunk right onto the fucking deck. Well, guess who the fuck happened to be?
Out there enjoying the day.
I didn't even know she was there.
Yeah.
She blends in. She's like
yeah, she's camouflages.
She's like the dinosaur off Jurassic World that can change colors.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate predator. I swear to God, I didn't even have a chance
to pick it up and put it back.
Nothing. Like, I glanced, I heard the thunk, I looked down, and the bird's in the cat's mouth. That fast. I was like, son of a bitch! So I start hollering. My husband comes out. He gets the bird away from the cat. And we set it back up in the nest. Oh my God. The parents are freaking out. Well, now the parents won't come back to the nest.
Yeah, because you doused it in water.
Where the little baby's at.
Yeah.
The little baby was like, I don't know what to do. Fell out again, and my cat ate it. Fucking cute. I was like, this is not okay.
This is going to be in like the summer of bird issues.
So then my daughter in the background is going, it's the circle of life. I'm like, y'all are sick.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of sick. We do this thing where we pick on each other.
Oh, yeah.
Through Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
But not just each other. Like, I pick on your husband.
Yeah.
Because, like, your husband
All of us do it. Me,
yeah.
you, my daughter, and my husband. So we never know who has done this.
Yeah. At least the icons always stay in the same order.
Yeah. So we know which account is who.
Which is ours. Like, we're
profile.
constantly changing each other's profile pictures.
Yeah.
And each other's names. And it's usually something insulting.
Yeah.
You know. Now, Maddie, like, she's always had her profile, like, as Ginger, like, the little dog's name.
And Ken, because the little one-eyed
troll that we talked
dog,
about earlier. Yeah.
She's always going, yeah. All day. It's
just gagging.
It's disgusting. And so, my husband calls her Gagatha.
Yeah, Gagatha.
And so one day we heard some disgusting noise in the hallway. I'm like, what was that? And my husband, without skipping a beat, goes, I guarantee you it's just Gagatha's phlegm. So, which it was I was crying. I was laughing so hard over that one. I couldn't stop. So we changed my daughter's profile name to Gagatha's phlegm.
Yeah. And then changed, like, the profile picture to this, like, whacked out looking little, like, creature thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like your husband...
his new name for her now is Emphysema.
Emphysema?
Yeah.
See, I always called her, because, her name's Ginger, I'd call her Gingivitis.
Yeah.
So your husband, like, right now, his is...
Wait, Madison calls her Gingina.
Yeah, Gingina.
That's so fucked up.
It is. His is dead neck bone.
Yeah, you changed his to dead neck bone.
Because, like, he's going to have a dead person's bone put in his neck.
He has it now. He had a little cadaver bone put in his neck.
Yeah. So he's dead neck bone.
We thought Madison did that. We didn't know it was you.
It's me. So I forget what you changed mine to. It was very offensive. Like, it was something about my vagina.
Wasn't it something like large vagina or something?
Yeah, I think it was like you were saying, like, basically had large vagina lips.
Yeah.
Like, basically. And, like, I forget what you changed my little character to.
Something like engorged cooter. Something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay.
No, I changed yours to
Now, so I logged on. She didn't say anything.
No, I didn't say anything. I changed mine back to the angry cat, like, doing, like, the rock symbols.
So I checked.
And fuck you.
I checked my email. She's at work.
Yeah.
I opened my email, and there's an email from Netflix that says, "Hey, enlarged clit, check out these shows that everyone else is watching in your area." And I'm like, "What?" So I took a screenshot of my computer screen.
Yeah.
Drew arrows to it and sent it to her at work. And she thought that was
I
hysterical.
was like, yeah, that's what I changed your name to because you made fun of my vagina.
So what is yours again?
I
changed hers again after
Oh,
that.
what did you change it to? Let me see.
Something like rectal seepage or I don't
So
Oh, come on, Netflix. Okay.
rectal fungus.
Yes.
Is what I thank you for at least leaving my angry cat. Because I think if I had rectal fungus, I would be pretty pissed off. But you're enlarged clit right now.
I think that's hysterical.
Maddie is Gagatha's phlegm. And then Ken is dead neck bone.
We need to change his to something else.
Did you see what I changed the Disney Plus?
Did you notice that how your name is spelled on Disney Plus?
I changed it, I think.
I don't
So
think you did.
we do this on Disney Plus as well.
We share all of our streaming stuff. Hulu,
Yeah.
Netflix, and Disney.
Now Hulu, I think because Barb's on there.
Yeah, we don't.
Her Aunt Barb is on Hulu, so like that's just Beverly, and
Yeah.
you know, we don't want her seeing all the.
All the shenanigans.
Oh
No,
yeah,
it's still, but I go insane when everybody calls me Jen, but for some reason, some people spell Jen Jenn, and it drives me nuts.
I've never that's how you spell Jen.
Says who? Is there like a council that I wasn't aware
But
of?
it's like your name is spelled with two N's.
So you're shortening it. Jen, Jen.
With two N's.
No, that's dumb. You might as well just write out my whole name. Anyway, so she wouldn't quit. She kept spelling Jen with two N's. So I said, all right.
Still do it to this day.
I said, I'm going to start calling you Beverly.
That's three V's.
Beverly.
Like Bev Verley. Like Bev Verley.
Yes.
Is how you're spelling
So
it.
whenever I write her name out now, I put two V's in it, and I changed her Disney thing to that.
But you know what? Like, it looks like a W.
It does.
Bewerly?
Bewerly?
Bewerly? But, and then she has, because I have Sally. Isn't it Sally, I think is her name, from Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes.
She's my avatar, and then her avatar is Darth Vader.
Yes.
So I changed her name on there to Big Vader. So far, we haven't got insulting with the Disney.
Yeah, why haven't we?
I don't know. We're insulting with everything else.
It's like it's more fun where more people can see it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
on the Netflix profile.
Yeah. So, but
my husband gets a big kick out of it.
Yeah, like with his, like every now and then I'll go in and change his to something, and
He never thinks it's you. He always thinks it's
he thinks it's Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should put something really offensive and let him think it's your daughter. Talking really in Disney and like
Yeah.
being really
Oh, yes!
really offended and traumatized.
I have destroyed something for her.
I mean, like, okay, so I'm not like really big into Disney anyway, but like you took and we know that like the Brothers Grimm, that like the fairy tale, like we know that those have a darker history. I was not aware.
How dark?
Well, but the Disney though,
Yeah.
like Beauty and the Beast.
I took it and stomped on it
I'm
for
fucked.
her.
I'm fucked up over it. I'm a little.
I killed my friend.
I'm traumatized by the real life story.
I will
of
let you tell it.
Beauty and the Beast. What country was it again? Spain?
I don't remember the country. It was over the ocean.
It was not England. It might have been French. I don't know.
I think it was France.
Yeah. So everybody knows about like the people that have like that hair disorder where hair grows all over their face and all over their bodies. They look like
a wolf.
Like what we thought werewolves were like in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know, that type of, hair disorder.
Like they look like Teen
Teen
Michael
Wolf.
J. Fox.
Yeah.
Fox off Teen Wolf.
Yeah. So apparently way back in the olden times there was a little boy born with this condition. He was sold he was given as a gift. He was given as a gift.
Somebody, captured him.
Yeah, and was like, here's a wild boy. And they
to the royal family.
To the royal
the
family.
King and queen.
So they put him in the basement, the dungeon, because castles had basements. They put him in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And so here he is, this little tiny boy, and like he's being looked at by all these like medical professionals, and like he's an oddity and whatnot. And they're like, wait a minute, he's not a wild animal. He is a human and can learn things.
When we shave him, he looks like
and it grows back. Like, he's not like eating, like, I don't know, but like they realize that he's a person.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he a person, but he was extremely fucking intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to learn multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
And
didn't he learn like 4 languages?
Yeah, he was very smart. So like eventually the royal family was like, okay, let's let him out of the dungeon.
Well, they educated him just as an experiment.
Yeah.
So he ended up highly educated.
Yeah, and like very, very smart, and like he would be at court.
He even had a position.
Yeah.
At court.
So he was at court and talking and he was still entertainment, but at least his life was a little bit better than being in the fucking dungeon, So then
the king dies.
The king dies, and his wife is cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs.
Apparently, she was a bitch.
She was like just horrible. So she's like, you know what? I wonder if he were to breed, if he would breed other little hairy babies. Mm-hmm. So she picks a woman from like her court, like the ladies that help her, like her ladies in waiting.
Well, the woman had never laid eyes on her, but she picked the most
beautiful. Yeah, and that was all like just her being
a bitch.
A bitch. Like she was like threatened by this woman's beauty.
Yeah.
So she forces them to marry.
Yeah.
And then she forces them to consummate their marriage in front of people. Because she was like, I wonder if he'll take her like an animal.
They thought he might transform into a beast.
Yeah.
During sex.
And like, how would she handle that? Would she survive it?
Yeah.
And I mean, so like, I'm just like,
what?
I just don't even know what
I was on the phone with her making her read this, and she's just like losing her shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, here's this poor guy mm-hmm. who was like taken from his family. Maybe they didn't love him. I don't know, but like. But he was put into a dungeon, and then, like, he became a science experiment. Life got a little bit better, He was still a fucking experiment, but at least he was up, around people. And then they're like, we're going to marry you and we're going to make you have sex with this woman, whether she wants it or not, whether you want it or not. And then, like, they have...
the first...
2 babies were okay.
And the queen was upset.
Yeah. The first 2 kids. Now, he apparently was a really great guy because, like, his wife did end up really falling in love with him. Mm-hmm. Like, he was very kind. He was very, generous to her. And so she ended up really, like, falling in love with her husband, which is fucking fantastic, okay? Mm-hmm. That it worked out that way for him. But, so the first 2 kids are normal kids, and the queen's like, all of...
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
Her name was Greta.
Yeah. And so
she shouldn't have said that.
But then they have their 3rd baby. And it's like him.
Like they popped out 4 more kids after that, and they were all
and it was all because they were told they had to once that 3rd baby come out hairy.
Yeah.
Then they were like, okay.
So she had 2 normal kids and then 4 more with the disorder.
So the queen took it upon herself to like take the hairy children from them and like give them as gifts.
Yeah.
And like sell them around.
Yeah.
And everything. So that's just fucking horrible, right? Mm. So eventually they are allowed to like leave. And I think they did get to take a couple of their kids with them, like definitely the hairless ones, but like I think even maybe one of the haired ones they were able to take with them. So they lived out their life, and as normal as they could considering the circumstances. Well, then he dies, mm-hmm. and when he died, they refused to give him the last rites. Because they're like, he's a beast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? Like, really? After everything you've done to this fucking man.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him be buried in the church cemetery either.
Yeah. And you know his wife was ruined. Mm-hmm. Like, you know that there was no way that she would ever marry anybody else, or, you know, I think they were older, though, like, when they passed away.
Yeah, they had a long life.
They did. They had a long life together. But, like, you know, I'm like, did they own property? Or when her husband died, it's like, well, the thing that was keeping you interesting is dead. So, fuck you, bye.
Well, because she was a woman back then, once he passed away,
her male relatives would have been responsible for her.
Yeah, they don't really keep track of the women and what happened.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty much property.
So that fucked me up.
Yeah, I fucked my friend up.
And it's like,
tale as old as time.
So I'm just like, you know, whatever. But so that fucked me up.
You're welcome.
Ow. I feel sorry for him. For the guy, you know. I mean, at least he ended up with a beautiful wife, you know, and they ended up having genuine feelings for each other. But, like, they had their children taken from them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not... I used to do that for a living. That's not okay. That's heart-wrecking. I've always said, like, that from the moment that CPS gets involved in people's lives, therapy needs to start for everybody involved. Mm-hmm. It needs to start for the parents. It needs to start because there's other reasons why the parents are having their kids removed. Mm-hmm. While you're working on that shit, why not work on the trauma of having their children taken from them? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, if someone come in right now and tried to take Maddie from you,
I'd end up in jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, and that's never addressed in these situations. So, like, I can't imagine, like, they didn't do anything wrong. And, like, we're going to sell your children. Keep making babies for us because, like, those hairy babies are in high demand.
Isn't that fucked up?
It is.
What was it? She gave one to some princess as her plaything?
Yeah, as a plaything.
One of the little girls.
Yeah. And when I read that, I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean plaything? Your
brain always goes to the worst possible.
But you got to think, like, for 7 years, my career was dealing with the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
Like, that's my reality. But I don't know. That just fucked me up. It fucked me up.
You're welcome.
I don't want to end on that note because that's fucked up. So I've been watching this. Okay, because, like, I don't wear makeup at all. Mm-mm. Like, when we go to Ulta, like, well, when you go to Ulta and you drag me with you,
like, I force you to go.
Like, I don't understand anything I'm looking at. Like, I understand some things go in the eyes. Like, I understand the basic fundamentals of makeup, you know, because I just don't wear it. I'm allergic to it. Well, we're questioning now whether or not I'm really allergic to makeup.
Because you were able to put on that paint for on your face for when we did our Celtic Warrior photos.
Yeah.
And then you were able to wear those gem stickers.
Yeah.
On your chest. And didn't get any reaction.
Yeah. So we're wondering now, because, like, growing up, I grew up very, very poor.
Yeah. I don't buy, like, super expensive makeup.
But you're not buying...
But it's not low-end.
You're not buying, Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, Dollar General makeup.
Yeah.
That's what because we were very poor. Mm-hmm. And that's what Mom wore. That's what Lavana wore. So, like, when I started experimenting with makeup, that's what I put on. And my face fucking broke out. Mm-hmm. But we're questioning now whether or not. So we were talking because I watched this one video, this one woman who does makeup, and as she's doing her face and she's putting her face on, she's telling, like, true crime stories and stuff like that. So I found something about murder and makeup, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna watch this.
That girl you turned me onto with her videos, you thought they were a joke.
Yeah.
Turns out they're not. She does her makeup now wearing this headband with two wobbly dicks on top.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
She's from England or some shit, isn't she?
She's Irish.
Irish?
Well, Welsh.
Welsh, okay. Because when I first saw that, I was like, this has to be...
No, she's serious.
Because, like, the very first video I saw of her, like, she was a hot mess. Like, her hands looked like they were just, like...
It turns out she had a self-tanning incident of great proportions.
Yeah. But, like, so she looked like she had, like, Cheeto dust fingers. Mm-hmm. And she was doing her makeup. And, like, she has, like, a very uneven complexion to start with. Mm-hmm. Because of, like, a lot of freckles and stuff.
Yeah, and she has that rosacea too.
Yeah. So, I mean, she just looked like a hot mess. And I was like, you have got to watch this.
She even has her own, like, t-shirt line.
Yeah.
And she's a clothing brand representative.
So,
But, guys, if you saw this woman, I'm not going to say who it is.
no.
Because it's not right, but...
Because we're kind of making fun of her. Not, okay, we're not, like, making fun of her, but, like, the very first video I ever saw of her.
I thought, what the fuck?
Yeah, because she had a lot going on.
Yeah.
But apparently that's just who she is as a person.
Yeah. And when she's done with her makeup, she looks really good.
Yeah, she's really good at makeup.
But the whole process is like, what the fuck?
And you're watching her, and like, there's no, like, you see
There's no
these,
rhyme or reason.
Yeah, and you see these other, like, tutorials where they're very systematic about what they're doing and why they're doing it. She's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put big black
She'll have like
lines.
raccoon circles around her eyes.
Yeah.
And everything. And you're
but
like,
it ends up looking good at the end.
It does.
And you're like, what is happening? But this other woman I watched, she just, like, she does her makeup and she talks, you know, like, tells, like, murder stories and stuff like that. But then it got me thinking about, like, me and makeup. And I run this idea by you. And if I could find out for sure whether or not I'm allergic to makeup, I
have a makeup bag right here.
She literally reaches over. She's like, this is the moment I have been waiting for. She's going to, like, smear powder across my forehead and say, see what happens. Right now is probably not a good time. Because I've got poison ivy and, like, all these other, like, shit going on. And, like, I don't want to confuse. Like, what if I accidentally get poison ivy across my forehead right before you put makeup on it?
Guys, I beg her. I'm like, at least, please, just mascara.
Yeah.
Some tinted chapstick.
Yeah. So I was thinking, though, like, how funny would it be? And I could probably, like, make some fucking money off of it like these YouTubers do.
I think you could.
If I had a YouTube channel where I discover makeup. I'm like 38 now? 39? How old am I? 39. 39. At 39 years old.
I'm denying this person.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a last name.
I don't care. They didn't answer my question.
Okay.
Decline. Guys, if you guys request to join our Facebook group, just hope she gets to you first, because she'll improve just about everybody.
Yeah.
Me?
If you don't answer the one question, which is like, are you a douchebag?
Are you a raging douche or judgmental asshole?
Yeah, judgmental douchebag or something. She's like, I'm going to assume because you didn't answer the one question that you are, in fact, whatever we asked you.
And I'll, like, look at the profile and make sure I don't see Jesus stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I go check out the profiles. I don't just, like, whine, like, burp, burp, burp.
I'm a little bit psycho.
Yeah. I just don't kick them out for not answering the question.
I do.
Because the question's only on there as a joke anyway.
Still.
But anyway, we just discussed how funny it would be if I were to do a YouTube channel where I just try new products and be like, what is this? How does this work? Could you imagine me trying to do contouring?
That would be... No, you'd probably be really good at it.
Oh, wouldn't that be like I'd end up like glam makeup every day going to work?
I would be so happy.
See, and here's the thing about, like, I don't think I would ever wear makeup. Like, even if I did that, like with the YouTube channel, I would not wear makeup in my everyday life. I would literally just do it for YouTube. Because it already takes me forever to wash and dry my hair to go to work.
Yeah.
I don't want to add any other steps to my routine.
You could do your hair at night.
No. It gets fuzzy. Like, if I do it at night and I sleep on it, the next morning it's just fuzzy.
Can't you sleep in a little...
No!
Like
little turban.
Look like Eartha Kitt and wearing a little turban.
No, I can't do that.
But...
Because I toss and turn so much it comes off. I've tried.
I would love...
Your brother told you that I flop around like a fish.
He did.
Because I do.
I don't think he said fish. What did he say? Like something... It was some sea creature...
That's wounded.
Struggling to breathe and was wounded or something.
Thanks.
Like...
Thanks, Gary. Thanks.
But then we went on the cruise.
Pancake ass.
And then what's his dick said you snored like a rhinoceros or something.
Yeah.
And so you and I were like, how am I going to sleep on the cruise? Because you're clearly going to disrupt whatever.
Yeah.
I slept like a baby. I didn't hear a peep out of you.
Well, okay, so Gary, your brother is the one that told you that, like, that I snored real bad. So I was worried about that, and but like you said, you didn't hear anything on the cruise,
Right?
Like no problem whatsoever. But then, like Travis, the Jehovah's Witness that I was dating, he said that he's like, you can't spend the night. I think that when he was doing that, he was meeting some other person.
I don't know.
But anyway, because I snore and he couldn't sleep, so we recorded me sleeping.
We did.
And then we listened to it on the way to Huntington one day.
Like hours worth.
Yeah. And it's like every now and then, like you would hear like little sounds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe every now and then, like kind of a louder kind of like snort type thing. But like as far
it wasn't even loud. Like it was nothing that would wake me up.
Yeah. As far as like snoring, like when I think of like my dad snoring.
Like, and I have kids, so stuff like that would wake me up.
Yeah.
Because when you have kids, you get superpower hearing in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I didn't wake up.
Yeah, like I didn't hear shit.
I didn't.
So, fuck both of them.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're exes.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yeah. They sucked.
Yeah. I tend to have a type, and the type is asshole.
Oh, speaking of that.
Of assholes or types?
Both. I have a cancer meme.
Oh, thanks.
That I did not post because I didn't want you to get mad at me. But
you've been calling me out with these cancer memes. That's funny.
I can post it.
Yeah, that's funny.
You gonna tell them what it is?
So it's this woman looking down at this pile of trash. She's like, it's like cancers. What does it say again?
Cancers looking at their choices in men.
Yeah. Accurate.
Cancers tend to take on men that need fixed.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll just love him so well.
Yeah.
That he'll be normal.
Like literally your brother, like we started like seeing each other. I wouldn't even say we started dating because like he didn't have a car, didn't have a job. It's not like he could take me out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
But like we would spend time together and talk and everything. He moved into my house before we had sex together.
That's right.
Yeah. And the reason he moved in with me before we even had sex together was because, like, he could no longer live in his rent-free apartment. He had been stealing electricity and got caught. And he's like, now winter's coming.
Yep.
And I don't have any electricity.
Yep.
So that's how he ended up in my apartment. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah,
I can fix the problem for you.
He was having problems. You're like, you can come live with me. I'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, danger.
I'm like, no.
So, yeah. Oh, no.
And you were like,
it's just horrible.
but he's tall.
Yeah. He's so tall. And, like, I would date, like, before that, I would date guys that, like, you know, about my height. I'd never dated anyone shorter than me, but, like, at least my height. And ever since dating him, like, I don't want to date anybody.
Yeah, he was like half foot taller than you.
Yeah, I want to date some, because I'm 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to feel like the fucking woman in a relationship. And it's hard when you could bench press the guy. Like, you know? So, anyway.
I feel like you and my son hooking up.
Oh.
I'm not being... He's not a child, guys. He's 26.
Well, it's just like the fact that he's your son.
I know.
I look at your kids as like my niece and nephew. So that just disgusts me on a whole other level.
He's not tall.
And he's not a child either. Like,
no.
he's like, what, 25?
26.
20, yeah, so I mean, like, it's not like he's a child.
No. But he's not tall.
No, he's not tall.
He's like 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah, and then compared to me being tall for a woman.
You guys would look so retarded.
Oh, my God. And, you know, and I when I was doing, because I don't do it now, but when I was doing the whole online dating thing, I would have guys like 5 foot tall. Like, hey, baby. And I'm like, and rail thin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would fart and you would be blown away.
You're like, you would die.
Like, I am I'm a big person. Like, not only height, but like weight. Like, I know I would break you and not even mean to. Like, we would have to call an ambulance and I had to put a bra on.
That would just be terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our rambling podcast. That catches you guys up of, you know, COVID adventures and crackheads, and Beauty and the Beast is not a fluffy, beautiful story.
No.
But you know what? Beauty and the Beast is kind of like, of all the Disney things, well, I don't know. I mean, like the whole Snow White being practically dead and like
hanging out with a bunch of dwarfs.
Yeah. But like, you think about this, just the story, like the Disney story of Beauty and the Beast. Like, basically, she was forced to stay there with him. And like, she ended up having, what's that called?
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. So like, it wasn't like it was a, you know, a pretty tale to begin with.
Yeah.
But, man, taking someone's babies from them.
Oh, yeah. Well, the royal families back then, once your children hit, I think, like 2 years old, you had to send them off to live on another estate and be raised by nannies and other noble people. Because they said it was unsafe to keep all the nobility in one place. So you'd have a kid, you'd get to hang out with it for a year or two, and then you didn't hardly ever see your kid until they were old enough to marry off when they were like 12.
Yeah.
And then you'd get to see him and be like, hey.
It's like, hey, you grew up nice. Unless it's that one king.
Oh, the deformed one?
Yeah.
Remember I was telling you about that? That girl being forced to marry him?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it, guys. The podcast, the service that we use for the podcast, this whole time it has had a feature. I just chose not to use it. Where I can upload these podcasts and set a date for them to be released. So I'm going to start doing that because we are just releasing these every other week now, and I don't want things like COVID and all that kind of stuff to kind of get in the way of me putting them out when I'm supposed to, or me just forgetting because I fucking forgot.
Well, it's kind of hard. We're having to dig deep right now because I truly don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the time I was having to come up with the topics anyway, so I don't know.
But it's like I don't even have much to interrupt with. Like,
yeah, you're like I just don't really want to do the podcast anymore.
I'm like, I have nothing to talk about but Gagatha's phlegm.
Yeah.
And that's... Oh, I do have one thing I can say.
Hey, we won't quit there. Go ahead and say it.
It's not funny.
Well, damn. Is it depressing?
No.
Because you know I like depressing.
It's shocking.
Oh.
So they came out with the new school plan.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, be off Wednesday.
Like, do schoolwork at home on Wednesdays.
Yeah, not off, but yeah.
So, then they come out with another thing where they're giving parents the option to let their kids stay at home and do online learning.
Virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll bring you a computer and everything. But they did say, we cannot pay for your internet.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I thought for sure my child was going to be like, oh,
I'm not going to school.
I'm staying home.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you were on the phone with me. She's like, she legit said.
Well, because you explained to her, it's not like what we were doing at the end of last school year. Like, you're still going to have to get up.
Yeah.
And get on the computer and be virtually present for the class from whatever time in the morning to whatever time in the evening.
She's like, fuck that. I want to go to school.
Yeah. She's like,
and you and I were both stunned. Like,
yeah.
What?
Like, she basically, it's like, she was like, why would I want to sit at home on a computer all day? She's like, if I'm going to have to get up and be in that class, I might as well be there in person.
Yeah. She wants to see her friends.
Yeah.
Everything. And she's starting high school.
Yeah.
So my child made me very proud and didn't try to take the easy way out.
Well, she's been making a lot of very smart educational decisions. It's like she knows she has trouble with math.
Yeah.
So whenever it come time to sign up for her classes for high school, she, on her own, signed herself up for an elective math class where all they do is help you with your regular math.
I know.
And it's like...
I was stunned.
Yeah.
So
she used one of her electives.
I think she was the parent in most of our past lives.
Yeah.
And raised me, because the way she thinks is so much more mature than me.
Because, like, you'll tell her how to deal with something, and it's always, like, kind of a little bit immature. And
Yeah, remove their face!
and then I'll tell her how to deal with something, and it depends on the day, whether she gets a social work answer or a serial killer answer. You know, like, because when I'm feeling salty.
Which is, you've been salty for about a year now.
Yeah. I'm just jaded.
You're getting saltier and I'm getting nicer. What the fuck is that?
I know. It's just like your neckline text.
Yeah.
This random fucking number texts her and accuses her of stealing her gold neckline.
Yeah, and they want it back.
And And you were like, huh, what with that? And like, you're just prepared just to ignore it.
I said, I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong number. This is Jennifer.
Yeah. So then I'm already mad because they've texted you.
You got so pissed.
But then they were like, you know,
they wrote back and said, the ones you stole from me.
Yeah.
I just wasn't going to say nothing.
I was like, oh, hell no. I pretty much bullied you.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you have to say it. Like, and you even niced up what I wanted you to say.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was like, no, you write back and be like, bitch, I don't even fucking know what a neckline is.
Nor have the need to steal one.
I don't have the need to steal one because I make fucking $120 fucking $1,000 a year. And you were like, okay, I'm gonna have to be salty because Bev's demanding salty.
I'll tell you what I said.
Yeah.
Let me find. I hope I didn't delete it.
But what I wanted you to say.
Okay, here's what I actually said. I said, and this was saltier than I wanted to be. But
yeah.
I had to please my friend. I said, I don't know who this is or who you think I am, but I don't even know what a gold neckline is or have the need to steal whatever the hell it is. And that was all I said.
Yeah.
And you wanted me to be like, bitch.
Yeah.
What kind of trailer park?
Yeah, I wanted you. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I did. I really did.
You wanted me to, like, insult their income, their family.
And then I asked you what their phone number is. And you thought I was getting ready to text them myself.
I did.
And I'm like, no, I just want to see if, like, the number pops up. Because sometimes in Facebook, people will connect their phone numbers to their Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to see if it would pop up. But then you were like, you gave me an idea. And I was like, but I could text them. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. But I was thinking, like, that's a good idea. Be like, who the fuck you think you are texting my friend? Check the fucking number before you send some ignorant ass bullshit. Yeah.
You pick fights lately.
I do.
You really do.
This is what happens when I'm no longer on the search for dick. Gotta get my excitement. Gotta get my excitement somewhere.
Lord have mercy.
So anyway, I have to urinate. So we'll wrap this podcast up. You can find us on the interwebs at featherandbone.net. That's featherandbone.net. There you'll have access to our Facebook group. There's a link there for it. If you join the group, just remember that it's basically just smut.
Pagan smut.
Pagan smut. A lot of making fun of other zodiacs and that kind of stuff. So, but it's fun.
We don't let political posts in there.
Yeah, every now and then one will slip through, but we just kind of quietly delete it. Like, it's not, we don't like ban or block anybody. We're just like, not my page. Boop, gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, remember, it's magic, motherfuckers.